So really briefly, understand the Olympics is the continuity of rape cults using their governing class privileged positions to extract attractive, healthy people from societies and to forge more competitive builds, and then to say, oh, look at me, right? And every once in a while, there's some poor person that secret societies have sponsored so they can pretend that the Olympics is on the up and up, ultimately paving the way for governing class, gene technology, manipulation, and so on and so forth. So part of why I get angry is that these people use drugs and poisoning and poison tips arrows and all kinds of underhanded techniques and coercion to betray the true martial art order of God and ultimately to have sex with their family members. And that's what these statues and these later period Egyptian paintings are about. Okay, they're about these people looking for body perfection. But who? The martial arts already had pretty much perfect bodies from fighting with each other. It was these later nerds and geeks like pussies like Imhotep, bitches like that, bitches like who the cult of Amen is based on. Look at these guys. These guys are weirdos, they're pussies, they're sissies, okay? Pansies, geeky, dorky, nerdy, right? And they're pretty much like when a geek-ass motherfucker gets top-shelf pussy kind of picture. And they're doing it evilly and they're wrong, okay? Now, look at the picture on the screen. You can tell, obviously, that Horus is in me. So we look at martial arts as martial arts systems. We see people fall into three main categories, including military people themselves. Those who do it for looks, okay, including those who open businesses and teach little kids and so on and so forth, right? They're concerned with cool moves, how it looks, how they look, their reputation. We have those who withdraw, okay, like Buddhist monks. They've withdrawn. If you're not competing and seeking to compete and seeking to learn and study the opposition and compete against them, what chance do you really have? Okay. And then we have those who are rich kids, okay? Those people who have the blood of leaders. There is no being a top martial artist without having the blood of a leader, okay? The natural martial artist emerges. We look at human nature, right? Martial arts has to do with nature and supernature and willpower, okay? Willpower. Mind over matter, we're talking about willpower, which is also play on words for well, which has to do with your family well and your family genes and your genetics and who you're related to. That's why Harware is heir war, the heirs, right? The nobles' kids who have the best trainers. The princes who have the best trainers, right? These guys are in the run, right? They're vying for El, which means Lord. And it's not a coincidence that in Europe, in medieval Europe, and so on and so forth, right? People were called lords, right? And not just in Europe. So these people, quite often, were deified. The pharaoh was seen as a god. The Sumerians would pretend that they're the gods they represent. They're the voices of gods. They're the vessels for their gods to speak, which is really what a prophet is. It is a vessel that has been chosen by God to speak on behalf of that God, right, quote unquote, or the one true God. The one true God is a martial artist God. He's marshaling things. Ra, the strength of the sun. He's depicted as a falcon, right, or the cat of Heliopolis, as a leopard, or as a winged disc. The person representing him is a martial artist traversing the realm. You have Horus, son of Ra. Okay, when these martial arts evolve and refine themselves, okay, where does this thing go? So the Temple of Ra was basically like a message from the sub-Saharan type of Africans, all the way up, in northern Egypt, right, Heliopolis. This is for them to say, hey, this is what religion really is. There's no viable counter-argument. People must concede our point, and using warriors and logic and so on and so forth that people did. Okay. Then down by the Nubian border, you have Nekhen, right, in the Aswan government, right, Aswan, the ugly duckling. Right? And this is where the true martial art activities comes together, because the different sub-Saharan African people would migrate to that point and compete, as part of the trade route activities. So you had Hawk, backwards, is Kwa, K-A-W-A. Okay, at the end of the day, the rest of the world is basically doing minimum warrior activities compared to these people. These people are like the elite. This is like the NBA All-Star team, and everyone else is like a junior high basketball team. Okay, there really is no competition. The air war was between these guys and each other, not anyone else on the planet. Okay, those people on the planet had spread out to avoid this pressure cooker activity. It's like migrating away from Compton, going to Malibu and saying you're the toughest gangster around. It's even worse than that. There's a dramatic discrepancy, okay? people that look like Willow Osgood, people that are tall and skinny, people who are fat and slow. They had no chance. These guys are going to outmaneuver them. They're going to cut them open. These guys hunt fucking lions and leopards and hippos. These guys are dangerous guys, and how big you are does not move them in the slightest. You're just a bigger target. Okay, martial arts is about outmaneuvering and surgically striking. And the better you are at outmaneuvering and striking quickly, the less important it is to surgically strike. You can stab him 10 times before the guy can even lay a finger on you. Imagine I have a very effective, look at the ceremonial knife I'll put at the end of this, a very effective blade, and I can stab you 10 times in the stomach, in the neck, okay, in the chest area, in the sides, okay, and before you can grab me, okay, and to compound matters, you're almost certainly carrying weapons as well. So you're going to put down your weapons and grab this person? It's certainly a matter of who strikes who first and who strikes who effectively and how many times and so on and so forth. Okay, so maneuvering, speed, strategy, speed, and physical contact, as Shaka Zulu says in the movie, and obviously this is true in real life as well. The leopard hunts, right? Just because it's said in the movie doesn't mean it's not true. So when we look back at the air war, who's training who and why? Now, if you don't transcend, martial arts is about willpower. It's about marshaling the order, martial to order, right? Marital, material, okay? Either you're just flesh and you're being marshaled by people who are actually vying for power, or you're fighting this war to establish yourself spiritually. So when the devil, and he does, is the god of this world, okay, he starts to control all the martial arts systems that are allowed to exist. Basically, no worthy martial arts exists that's accepted by the public. Okay, certainly it then becomes this kind of secret eugenic battle to screen this guy out so they can more effectively pretend that they're the best martial artists. Again, I tell you, it's this eugenic, social Darwinist, scientific racist, kind of European, right? The Jews that migrated to Europe, right? And the Canaanites and the Sumerians and the followers of Set and Yah and Min and whoever they were. They migrate to Europe, they become the governing class, and boom, they say, our story. We're the chosen people. This is our story. It's not about martial arts. Just give us our respect as magicians. It goes back to the 7 sages and the sages of Sumer. It goes back to the magic as the unofficial way to manipulate things. And they're talking chemistry. They're talking psychology. They're talking coercion. They're talking plagues, right? Apollo, plagues and medicine. Poseidon, inducing epilepsy and working with Apollo. Apollo authorized the colonism. And Poseidon, who is a deity of the sea, ships, storms, earthquakes, he protects them on their way. So these are sea people invading places. Okay, these aren't the Egyptians, these are more the sea people. These are the Set guys who were expelled and they kept coming back trying to unfairly establish themselves using drugging, right? The Scorpion King followed Min and Set, and what do scorpions do? They poison you, right? The kiss of death, Judas kissing Jesus, and so on and so forth. So it's an air war, okay? That's why Horus the Elder, Haro Ares, ear, eyes, Eri in Ethiopia, you know, who had their warriors pretty much killed off, okay? And they're this kind of relatively feeble people. And Eri in Nigeria, where all the greatest athletes, basketball and football at least, and boxing and so on, come from, okay? These are the descendants of these Igbo people mixing with other tribes like the Congo and Angola and so on and so forth to give you Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali and so on and so forth, right? You can tell why my uncle, he's in that picture, I don't know where you can see it. He resembles Muhammad Ali and Martin Luther King, right? These are the guys with spiritual heart, with passion, right? Who connect to the gods. The God doesn't want to see the Martin Luther Kings times 10s of the world replaced by a bunch of scientists. Okay? It's also when Egypt takes on new meaning. If you say they're white and focus on their building, focus on their art and their chariots. It's like saying a bunch of Urkels with fucking bows and arrows with the white version of it. Hi guys, who did drive-bys on chariots, where it's hard to shoot the guys on chariots because you don't train in a way where you have something similar to a chariot moving around, shooting with a bow and arrow. You can kind of do that. You can kind of mimic it. Okay, but it's not exactly the same thing. It's a bunch of geeks, privileged geeks who leverage their trade route money to build a huge army with people with chariots and to do drive-bys and to control the terrain and do drive-bys and people and shoot at them from ships and shit. These are the solar boat people, okay? Excuse me, these are the boat people, right? Set was said to defend the solar boat. So there was the boat wars. The followers of Horus did something like that too. But it's the boat people that left that then invaded Europe and then controlled the reproductive cycles and became the Greco-Roman gods who in their own Hollywood series are described as petty and cruel. And how else could you describe them? They were rape cult deities. They were people that cursed Ariadne for weaving better than whoever was, Athena or someone. These people are petty. They're rape cult people. Poseidon raped Medusa. He rapes this Caiaphas and she in exchange makes her a male warrior. These are rape cult scumbags with magic card bitch. Okay? They make the Greek societies and colleges. They control Hollywood and the holy wood, right? Stick fighting versus a magic wand. These are bitches. They have no right doing martial arts in the first place. It's a disgrace for the children of snakes to do quote unquote martial arts. That martial art automatically system is disqualified. It is dishonored. If it has surrendered itself hopelessly to snakes, what good is it? You've surrendered yourself to magic card bitches, to Harry Potter, Willow Offsgood, fucking Merlin, pussies, cowards. They have no heart. The heart is not only the seat of intelligence in Egypt, but in the core of Egyptian culture, which is the warrior tribes that brought you the falcon, which brought you the archetype of Pharaoh. These weren't magic card bitches that brought you the archetype of Pharaoh. These were African warrior tribes from Nekhen, the city of the hawks in southern Egypt. Why didn't they have something similar in northern Egypt? Okay? That's who united the land. The Nile flows up, right? The water, the well. Okay? Why he's bringing these people that don't need a mast? They just get on a on a little boat and just get kind of guide it and get carried right up. So at the end of the day, it's an air war. And if you don't transcend it and say, I'm going to challenge you, you're not in the running. Okay? When a guy does 15 hits in 1.2 to 1.5 seconds was gloves on from Deontay Wilder's boxing range, and he's talking about lateral movements all day, and he's talking about skywalking and footwork, and he went from playing basketball to 8 hours a day to doing martial arts fucking, for 20 years, He said he's been a grand champion since 1997. You can't just say, well, and he's a fucking brain surgeon son from a royal martial art family. You can't, from Nigeria of all places. That's why they call him the N-word, right? They call these athletes who are more athletic than they are the N-word. No gear. Would you rather be the guy with no gear who's actually connected to the guy, some scientist, Apollo bitch, like, hi guys, who was bullied around saying, no alpha males, no alpha males. They used to bully me because I'm a bitch. It's fucking stupid. How can you be a word god when you're a scientific bitch who's crying about being bullied and picked on like the nerds and getting stuffed in lockers like a bitch? Okay? These guys represent for the nerd geek bitches. Dragon itself is a play on words for nerd, for gay nerd. G-O becomes G-A. Nard becomes nerd. Gay nerd. And is it correct? Yes. Who causes the chaos? The chaos comes from replacing the martial art order with scientific, musket-carrying, fucking pirate, corporate, core pirate bitches. Created chaos. So all these governing class bitches can have the best of everything and pretend that they're actually martial artists. But it doesn't matter how many flips you can do. It doesn't matter, how many kicks you can do in a minute. If you can outmaneuver me and fucking strike me before I strike you effectively, what good are you? You're just dead. You do a triple flick to a kick, I'm just going to grab your leg and smack you against the ground, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Right? It's like a Jiminy Cricket doing, he's like, hi guys, and I grab his leg and just smash his head against the fucking cement and I throw him to the side. Okay? If you can't outmaneuver someone like me, you're dead. And that's what martial arts is for. Controlling life and death naturally and supernaturally. Naturally and supernaturally. Say it with me. Naturally and supernaturally. So martial to order, willpower, material, marital. Okay? Marsh-el, going back to where the Nile touches Egypt and going back to northern Egypt where Heliopolis was. Okay, but was Heliopolis the people that united the land? No. They were the guys making the case. Then a bunch of people started whining about, we want the hot chicks. We want the family members of the martial arts. They're hot and our chicks are weird cavemen looking bitches. With all due respect. They started crying like bitches. Okay? So then this guy had to come up. Before technology, this guy, wait! And they fucking stabbed him to death. Throw him against the wall. What? A bunch of Zulu boys running around chasing a bunch of fucking necktie bitches. Hey, wait guys, wait. What? Do we have a fucking problem? Do we have a fucking problem? Not I. You know, and everyone who's fucking said, well, I think we do, they got put on, that's what the Narmer Pass said. You're on your fucking knees. Naturally, you little bitches. I know you sniveling pussies are gonna pretend one day that you're closer to God with technology like a bitch. Just like what? Bow! You punk ass motherfuckers. Do you understand now?